Was good. Alexander George Bounyavong, Alex B. Alexander the Curious George, here with episode 13. The Outcast. You ever felt like you were an outcast before? I certainly have. I think a lot of more people than you think have. I think a lot of more people that would care to admit they have. And an outcast is, you ever felt left out? You ever felt unseen? You ever felt a little different from the rest of the crowd? Maybe not totally accepted as much as you wish you were. A little lonely, right? Made fun of, Well, I did as well. Believe it or not, I did as well. There was a time, middle school, because there was a time in elementary school where you kind of just it was such a free flow time of joy and bliss and fun for me in elementary school. I was kind of friends with everybody, didn't really care about popularity. I think I kind of just had it in elementary, but there was a shift going from elementary to middle school. Middle school was an adjustment. I think that also had to do with the hormones that were changing in both boys and girls. And, in elementary school, you kind of got, at least from kindergarten to the fourth grade, if you were talking to the girls a little too much, you were kind of made fun of from the guys. Girls had cooties and all that shit, right? I think that started changing a little bit more in the 5th grade. People started going out with each other more. Going out, even that was going out in the 6th grade, but that was becoming more normalized in 5th grade. And it started happening a lot in 6th grade. There were more couples happening. And at some point, I don't know what it was, but I just, the same friends that I kicked it with in elementary school didn't necessarily transfer over into middle school as much, I would say. We hung out every now and then when I saw them or so, but there was some disconnect, there was some distance there. I always had the same best friend in elementary school, but we started getting a little distant in 6th and 7th grade. He started becoming way more popular than I was. And I think I developed kind of this loner vibe, this loner kind of image to myself. I became a bit more aloof to those around me. I remember even walking in the hallway one time, because after lunch, people would go to recess, right? Or lunch break, you're on lunch break. Some people would hang out in the halls, or actually you were outside. But once lunch break was done, the hallway was just packed. It was jammed. It was it was a jungle. And I remember walking past one of this dude, and he was very popular. And his name starts with a C. I'm not gonna disclose his whole name, but it starts with a C. And he called me. He sees me walk past him, and he's just chilling behind the wall, right? his cool boy stance. He just watches me walk by and he goes, "There goes the loner." Yeah, I heard it. And it was kind of true. I think it hurt because I knew that it was somewhat true. I was a bit of a loner, you know? And I didn't necessarily like that. I didn't like not being a part of the popular crowd. I didn't like, or at least I didn't like not being noticed to the level that I would say my friends were from elementary school. Like, they were still more popular than me, I would say. 6th grade, for sure. 7th grade, I think there was an adjustment. But before I go there was something about the 6th grade where I even started losing sleep because of the homework. The homework was just an adjustment. I think because I daydreamed so much, I procrastinated a lot, that the homework load, the workload was just piling up, and I wasn't always completing things on time. I would do it to the best of my ability, but I was so tired from school sometimes that I would sleep right when I came from school, and I'd wake up like at 8, sometimes 9, and then I'd have to stay up and do my homework till like 2, 3 a.m. Sometimes so late that I had to stay up all night till like 6 a.m. and still go to school. I developed habits like that in middle school. Might have stunted my growth a little bit, maybe, I don't know. But that's what was happening, you know? I never felt that level of stress in school, like, ever, really. Not that much in elementary school, not really. The teachers, on the other hand, gave me, like, out of nowhere. I had no idea I was going to receive this thing. Because we had pep assemblies in middle school, right? And at pep assembly, they just announced my name for Outstanding Resilience in Character, or Outstanding Character Award for Presnell and Dooley. And at that moment, I didn't really understand why I received that award. I didn't even understand what it meant. But hindsight's 2020. Now I see why they gave it to me. And now I see what it meant. Outstanding resilience in character. That I think because I was alone, because I was kind of an outsider, because I kind of just stuck to my guns and not really followed the crowd all that much, it made me stick out in a good way, to the point where the adults could see, because I'm an old soul, right? And adults see that before you even knew. I didn't even know what that was. I didn't know what an old soul term was in the 6th grade. I had no idea. But now I do, right? Now I'm 27. But adults saw that. And so they gave me that award. This is what I thought. This is my perception. Because I was kind of just sticking to my own character, you know? In the 6th grade, man, I received this nickname Boomerang. Boomerang! From Coach Kelly and Coach Appel. From 6th grade intramural basketball. God gosh, that thing stuck all throughout middle school and all throughout high school. I'll never forget that. 7th grade, I definitely wanted to, like that summer leading into 7th grade, I wanted to make sure I made an adjustment for 7th grade, that I wasn't going to be as shy, as closed off. I definitely wanted to just be out there more, be a bit more social, because the guys that were getting all the attention with the girls, they were the social ones. They were out there being funny and charismatic, and I'm not gonna lie, like I was a little envious of that, because I used to be me in elementary school, and not so much now, 6th, 7th grade. I was dealing with these hormones and stuff like that. I didn't know what to fucking do with them. So, like if I was known for anything at this point, this is 7th grade, is that I was known for my clothing and my sneaker game. Because I always had nice shoes and I had good fits. I loved clothes, I loved fashion at a young age, even in elementary school. Middle school was the time I first dealt with, I would say, bullying. There were times where I felt a little pushed out of my comfort zone in terms of what you allow will continue. Like I would allow others to do things to me to a point where they felt so comfortable abusing me and my boundaries that they would do it almost every day. And I think I let that happen too much, but I wasn't no pushover all the way. I wasn't no doormat, because when I finally started pushing and fighting back, then they gave me the respect. Then they gave me those boundaries back. They knew not to cross the line so much anymore. Like there was a time in the 6th grade when this kid, his name was Andy, he was Asian too, and he used to kind of bug me a lot and kind of annoy me, and he was just too much for me sometimes. And there was a point where I thought that he thought he could do whatever he wanted to me, and I almost wanted to fight him. Damn near almost wanted to fight him. Like he might have pushed me to the wall, and I had to put him in a headlock, right? My own teacher one time, like when I was in class, he came to my classroom and he said that he needed to talk to me. I didn't want to fucking talk to this kid. Can I talk to Alex? I just need to talk to Alex for like 2 minutes. And he's like, no, we're starting class right now. He's like, I just need to talk to her for 2 minutes. Alex, come here. And he's like, no, get to your class. Class is starting soon. He's like, oh, fine, okay. And he runs off. And then my teacher looks at me and he says, Alex, is that kid bugging you? Like, is he bugging you? Because if he is, you can tell me. And then I look at him and I'm just like, I shrugged it off and I said, no, he's cool. It's all right. I think even my own teacher could tell that I had a bit more of a, like I could be more passive. I be a bit more dormant in my feelings. Like I could be a bit too tolerant at that time. Because as a kid, I had anger problems. I had anger issues. So I didn't necessarily want that to show to authority figures, and I didn't want that to be something that like I still had it in middle school, you know, like still had it in high school. I still have it in college. There was anger issues. I knew that he wasn't. I know he wasn't pushing me to my biggest buttons, but my teacher could definitely tell that he was getting on my nerves to the point where I was kind of on the fence of, should I do something, should I not do something? So come to find out, that kid was also, he felt like an outcast as well. We were kind of outcast together. Come 7th grade though, I made more friends. Growing up in the Meridian School District, going to Lewis and Clark Middle School. Lewis and Clark Middle School. You had 2 hallways. Okay, because it joined together at this corner, right? You had this hallway of the like the skater boys, preppies, you know, long hair, Jonas Brothers kind of like type vibe, or just, you know what I mean, like rock star kind of vibe, whatever it was. And then you had the minority side, you know, the Latinos, Black, Asian, right? What, like, if you, like the non-white side, like minority popular boys who were a bit more of the bad. They were both bad boys in each different section. These 2 different sections, they didn't really mix all that much. They had their own separate cliques, and I didn't belong to either of them really. I didn't belong to any of them, except I think I started getting closer to the more preppy kids who like wore maybe Hollister shirts. I didn't wear Hollister shirts, fuck that. But you know, collared shirts and like good kids who were smart and honor roll, because I believe in the 7th grade I wanted to make it on the honor roll for each quarter, and I damn near did. I think every single quarter I got 4.0 except one quarter that I got 3.999. I just valued intelligence, you know. I think this is where I started actually realizing that I valued intelligence so much, was in middle school. And I disliked getting bullied so much that I started learning and looking up YouTube videos about Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. And I was able to watch the videos, and then I would practice them on my friends when I went home from school. I was so obsessed with it to a point where like some of my friends started getting annoyed with me, and they started not hanging out with me as much because they didn't want to do Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, because they knew that I would ask like, let me try this move on you. Some appreciated it, some didn't, but you know, you live and you learn. I was kind of an extreme, maybe kind of an eccentric personality. I would say extreme. I was pretty extreme. I think even in middle school when I tested for the Harry Potter Hogwarts house, I scored as a Slytherin. Now I'm definitely more Gryffindor. But if I were to be completely honest, I'm like a Grifferin. Mix between Gryffindor, Slytherin. So, but no, 7th grade was cool. I think I was becoming less lonely than 6th grade. In the 7th grade, I definitely went to, there's 2 places that you would go in the 7th grade. There's 3 places that we definitely had, that were just popping. One of them was Boondocks. It was called Boondocks back then. It wasn't called Wahoo's. Now it's called Wahoo's. And Boondocks is like an arcade place. You go there, you play video games, you could play laser tag, and you could ride go-karts. They had 2 different tracks. The drifting track, and then the long track. I think I went to Boondocks maybe 2-3 times in this, after my 7th grade year. So this second place is Roaring Springs. Roaring Springs is the water park that we have back home in Boise. Boise and Meridian. And it's huge. To me, it's huge. It's a huge water park. You got slip and slides, you got the wave pool, you got the avalanche, you got the river. And besides go to Roaring Springs, I think they had this place called H2 Overload. And I even went to H2 Overload, I think once, maybe twice, that 7th grade year as well. And H2 Overload was like where all the young kids could go to Roaring Springs at night, and they would play music from the radio station. They would have a DJ, and all the kids would just be dancing, and the motherfuckers would be grinding, you know. This is you know, you got the hormones changing, all that stuff. Kids are horny, kids are doing stuff. It's middle school, you know, junior high, damn near. And this is just the facts. This is just what it was. You know, that's why it was such an adjustment for me going into middle school, because like elementary school, that was kind of it was so taboo. And then middle school, it's like, oh, we're all about it. Guys are jockeying for position. They're talking about like this, talking about that, what they did with this girl, what they did with that girl. Like it was a change, and it was all like happening within the first year or two of middle school. People were smoking weed, you know, and I was such a clean kid that I'm like, what? Like, what are you talking about? Oh, you did, huh? Oh, okay, great, cool. I was so pure. And the third place is called Settlers Park. They call it movie night. Movie night is a place, it's just an outdoor park, and they have this huge projection screen, and they play a movie every Friday, Saturday, I believe, or at least from what I remember. And that was just a fiesta of people from middle school, high school. It was so poppin'. This is fast forward in the future. It was so poppin' that they actually started canceling it because people would get into fights. Somebody got stabbed. Yeah, it was crazy. But what a time it was to be in that, to be alive at that time, to go to those movie nights and experience that, because you literally saw everybody. You saw everyone. And I would ride my bike all the way to Settlers Park. Me and my cousins, me and my little bros. Come 8th grade year though, 8th grade year, I made it an absolute mission to be, I would say, it's my last year. 6th, 7th, 8th grade is my last year. I wanted to go out with a bang. And that's exactly what I did. There was this huge momentum change when there was a pep assembly, and at every single pep assembly that I went to, I was usually the only one dancing, but this one in particular, I wanted to make sure that everybody was dancing, that everybody knew who I was. I wanted it to be an absolute point. And if you had the courage, and if you had the nuts to come join me on the dance floor, by all means, please join me. Because you would only feed me, and I would feed you. We could feed each other. It's energy, palpable, potent. And I definitely made my mark when I did that. And my whole school year after that was just like this huge surge of confidence boost, that I started talking to more girls, being more flirtatious, being more charismatic. Like, this is the stuff that I always knew that I was. It's just, it was so hidden in 6th, 7th grade. It was so repressed, right? I started flirting with it more towards the end of 7th grade, but I definitely wanted to make sure it happened. It came all into fruition. I planted this seed in my mind for 8th grade year to be the best year yet. And it was. And it was. I was an outcast too, you guys. But I knew that it didn't have to be like that. That it didn't always the situation didn't always need me to be a quiet person. It didn't need, if I want to be quiet, I can be quiet. But if I want to be, out there and charismatic and playing around, starting jokes and stuff, like I knew that I was capable of doing, and doing it smoothly. Obviously, some people aren't as smooth, but if you really want to get better at this stuff, you gotta play with things. You gotta play with boundaries. you gotta be observant. Granted, some personalities aren't as developed as others, but I think people sometimes mistake my charisma, my natural charisma and personality, like I wasn't an outcast ever. Yes, I've been an outcast before. I went out, 8th grade was an amazing year for me, but then I went back to ground zero, 9th grade in high school, when I hardly knew anybody at Meridian High School. Because after middle school, we all separated, Some went to Mountain View, some went to Centennial, some went to Meridian, some went to Rocky, blah, 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 blah. Some went to Eagle, whatever. So, at some point, we got to share that outcast story. Like, everybody's been an outcast, a loner at some point. I feel like, you ever been made fun of? Yeah, fuck, of course. You dish it out to me, I can dish it back. But that's a social skill. Like, you have to have social skills. You have to have soft skills to be able to learn how to do that. You got to understand personality traits. You got to understand temperaments. Like, what's true to you? Are you a person that gets mad easily? Are you a person that tolerates more than the usual? Are you a person that fights back? Like, what is it? Gauge the situation. A couple days ago, I was working and, you know, I was getting made fun of because of like the clothes that I wear or whatever. Like, you know, I mean, I know that I have good taste, at least to me. I get compliment on my clothes all the time. I love clothes and fashion for a long time now. You can't really tell me too much. I love to express myself through clothes. Anyway, I was getting made fun of. I get made fun of. I get thrashed on every now and then by my friends. And you don't know who's listening. You don't know who's watching. But when I was getting made fun of, all right, I kept my composure, kept it calm, cool, collected. And I was just getting roasted, right? From bang, 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 from little bro, little bro, little bro. Granted, they're all younger than me. They're all my sons. Because I have enough confidence in myself. I know myself enough. I know I have good style. I know I'm not ugly. Like, I know I'm not unattractive, you know? So, like, I don't need to do too much. I don't need to say too much when you already are. I already am. You know, so like it's just. But when it was happening, right? I couldn't help but just like smile, laugh, like, you know, yeah. Yeah, you're right, man. You're right. My clothing is this. Like my pants are that. I do look like this. But guess what? I'll still take your girl. And guess what? Your wife, she might leave you for me. All jokes aside, I mean, you know, I like to take it. Like if you can give me, you can dish it out. If you can dish it out, give it to me. Like, you know, that's cool, that's fine. But I'm gonna come back, and I might make it sting and make it hurt a little bit more deeper. So, because I'm not always the first one to attack. Usually I'm not. I'm a very peaceful and collected, calm guy. But if you want the smoke, just know I'll give you the smoke. Show me what you're made of, and I'll see how far I'll take it. But usually, if you want to go there, we can go there. But I love my haters. Love them all. Gotta have haters. They're the best motivators. You know? That's to all my youngins. Feeling a little insecure about themselves. You gotta have haters, man. Have to. I remember having this conversation. About like, so I have a buddy, like he's like a bro, and we have this mutual friend, and he's a creative person as well. And to my friend's eyes, this creative mutual friend that we both have, he thought that our mutual friend here was going to be probably the most successful and more lucky one out of all the actors or creatives that he knows. And he knew that I was also one of them, but he still chose this one, this mutual friend. He thought that he was going to be the most successful one, and that just fueled me. It fueled me, man. Like, I don't know what, it sticks. I'm not going to say no names, but it still sticks to me till this day. Shout out to the homie who, if this rings true to you, if you're listening to this, it's all love. It is all love. but it's fuel, you know. I love when you count me out. I love when they count me out. When they don't think I stand a chance, you know? When they think that I have no hand in the game. I love that shit. It's the best. Because they don't know how much you want it. Nobody knows how much you want it. Besides, well, you and the Almighty, you know, this universe, God, if you will. I like to call it God. I like to call him, her, it, God. But yeah, no one knows how much you want it. Besides, boom, boom, right? Now I'm surrounded by a whole bunch of outcasts. I go to school at Stella-Adler. We've all been outcasts. We all know what that feels like. We all know what it's like to not be seen. We all know what it's like to be made fun of. We all know what it's like to feel unwanted. We all know what it's like to feel unworthy, you know? We're all a little broken. The only part that makes us a little different is that we admit it, 1. 2, we're willing to be vulnerable for you. We're willing to tell you a story and share life through a different pair of lenses from someone else's emotional or intellectual, even both, spiritual connection to something, an idea, you know. So, life is good. Until the next episode, that's all I got. To all my outcasts, to all my audience members, everybody watching, paying attention, tuning in, I say thank you. You all are the real MVPs. It was All-Star Weekend. I didn't get to watch all of it, but you know, I'm always supporting my Iverson jersey. So one of my one of my home valley days, my childhood days favorites. Iverson and Kobe, you know what it is. So, always and forever, stay curious.